Every block got a story, some end in glory, some in silence. This is Block Testament. Before we proceed, subscribe and hit the notification bell. Today, we tell the story of Lil Loaded, a young artist from Dallas whose life, music, and struggles left a mark on drill culture in the US and UK. From viral fame to personal tragedy, his journey is a reminder that the street's testimony is never just entertainment, it's real life. This is the story of Lil Loaded. Lil Loaded, born Deshaun Maurice Robertson, came out of Dallas, Texas, a city with a deep rap history but rarely placed at the center of mainstream hip-hop conversations. Before fame, before millions of views, before headlines, he was just another young kid navigating life, trauma, and expectations in an environment where survival often comes before dreams. Like many drill and street rappers, Lil Loaded didn't rap for fun at first. He rapped to cope. His music carried pain, paranoia, loyalty, and loss, themes that felt lived in, not performed. You could hear it in his voice. It wasn't polished. It wasn't industry perfect. It sounded like someone talking directly from experience. His breakout moment came in 2019 with the song, Block Baby. The track exploded online, pulling in millions of views on YouTube and spreading fast across social media. It wasn't just the beat or the hook, it was the energy. Dark, aggressive, and unapologetic. The song put Lil Loaded on the map almost overnight. But success doesn't erase pressure. Sometimes it multiplies it. As his name grew, so did attention from the streets, the internet, and the justice system. Lil Loaded's life quickly became a mix of music momentum and real-life consequences, something common in drill culture, but rarely discussed honestly. In October 2020, Lil Loaded was arrested and charged in connection with the shooting death of his close friend, Khalil Walker. The case shocked fans and completely changed the trajectory of his career and life. According to reports, the shooting occurred during what was described as an accident. Lil Loaded maintained that the incident was unintentional. The legal process moved slowly, but the weight of it was immediate. For a young artist already dealing with mental strain, grief, and public scrutiny, the situation became overwhelming. He was facing serious charges, intense online commentary, and the emotional burden of losing a close friend, all at the same time. Lil Loaded often spoke openly about mental health, pain, and feeling misunderstood. His music, especially in his later releases, reflected a darker emotional state. Songs like Heart and Soul showed a more vulnerable side, introspective, conflicted, and clearly wrestling with inner demons. Mental health is often ignored in street culture. You're expected to be strong, silent, tough, but strength without support becomes isolation. In the days leading up to his death, there were reports and widespread discussion online suggesting that Lil Loaded was dealing with intense emotional pain related to a romantic relationship. According to multiple sources and people close to the situation, Lil Loaded believed that the woman he deeply loved had betrayed his trust. It has been rumored that this discovery had a significant emotional impact on him, especially given the fragile state he was already in at the time. What made this situation heavier was the role she reportedly played in his life. After the loss of his older brother to gun violence, Lil Loaded was said to have leaned heavily on a small circle of people for emotional support, and she was believed to be one of them. Losing a brother to street violence is a trauma that never truly leaves. For many, it reshapes how trust, attachment, and grief are processed. When someone becomes both a source of comfort and a source of pain, the emotional damage can be overwhelming. On the day of his death, Lil Loaded shared a message on social media that many later interpreted as a farewell. While he did not explicitly state his intentions, the tone of the message suggested deep hurt, emotional exhaustion, and a sense of finality. After his passing, fans revisited that post and connected it to the emotional turmoil he was reportedly experiencing. It is important to be clear, no single event can fully explain a decision like this. Suicide is rarely caused by one moment or one person. It is usually the result of accumulated pain, grief, pressure, isolation, and unresolved trauma colliding at once. In Lil Loaded's case, the rumored relationship issues were not the cause, but a possible trigger layered on top of legal stress, public scrutiny, mental health struggles, and personal loss. On May 31, 2021, Lil Loaded was found dead at the age of 20. Authorities later ruled his death a suicide. The news hit hard. Fans were stunned. Fellow artists reacted with disbelief and sadness. Conversations spread across social media about pressure, about mental health, about how fast success can turn into stress. At just 20 years old, Lil Loaded had already lived multiple lives. A kid from Dallas, a viral drill artist, a defendant in a high-profile case, and a young man carrying more weight than most people twice his age. His death forced many people to pause and reflect, not just on his music, but on the environment surrounding young artists in drill and street rap. Drill music is often criticized for its violence and darkness, but rarely do people acknowledge why it sounds the way it does. For artists like Lil Loaded, the music wasn't a character, it was a reflection. A diary, a warning. The industry celebrates authenticity, but it rarely protects the people from being authentic. Lil Loaded's story also highlighted the lack of mental health resources available to young men in street environments, especially black men. Therapy is still stigmatized. Asking for help is still seen as a weakness. And social media only adds to the pressure, turning personal pain into public debate. In the aftermath of his death, many fans revisited his lyrics and noticed signs they hadn't paid attention to before. Lines about death, struggle, and feeling trapped took on new meaning. It wasn't foreshadowing, it was honesty. Lil Loaded didn't die because of music. He died because of pressure without protection. Today, his legacy lives on through his music. Tracks like Block Baby remain staples in drill playlists. But beyond the numbers, his story serves as a reminder that talent doesn't make you immune to pain, and success doesn't cancel trauma. At Block Testament, stories like this matter. Not to glorify tragedy, not to chase clicks, but to document reality. Because every block has a story, and some of them end before they're finished. Lil Loaded's name is now part of drill history, not just for what he achieved, but for what his life teaches. If you're listening to this and carrying weight you haven't spoken about, understand this: silence isn't strength, and pain ignored doesn't disappear, it grows. This has been Block Testament, the street's testimony. Lil Loaded's story is more than headlines or viral tracks. It's about loss, pressure, and the weight that fame and life in the streets can carry. The music remains, the lessons remain, and every block still has a story to tell. This has been Block Testament. Remember, the streets speak, and we document their testimony. If you want to stay connected to the real stories behind drill music, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Join the movement. Every block has a story, and we're bringing them to you.